Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss, the vlog. I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Stick with us a couple of seconds and we'll share with you the technology that we use on our scouting and recon trips.
And we're back. And we hope that you'll take a moment now to give us a thumbs up on this video and like it, share it with your social media contacts, and subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications when we go live or release a new video. I like how Toby always says, YouTube likes it when you like our videos. And I always say to myself, Toby likes it when you like our videos.
So I cannot tell if we are live or what here. Hang on just a sec. I got to figure out what's going on. Yeah, it's still waiting for us. I don't know. Oh, that's not good. An error occurred. Let me see. Could you keep talking there?
Oh. Well, this is
you pay attention. Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is, well, okay, we are live. And do we have chats? Yeah. Okay. We're good.
Oh, yay.
Yay. So, you want me to do this since I broke the slide? So we wanted to bring you up to date on the Jamie Jourdan campaign that we're going through. As of this morning, the message that I got from Mike Howling and Christy from Thor were that donations totaled $12,131.75, which is an amazing number. That amount has been donated by 189 people, some of whom wish to remain anonymous, and there are now 477 entries in the cash
raffle drawing.
The raffle drawing. I have now you can go to Thor forum, and they do have a post or a thread dedicated to providing information. In addition to that, Christy has released a couple of very colorful pages with information. I wanted to keep it more dynamic, so we've established a Google Doc that has all the information on it, and we update it as soon as we get new information. If you needed to go there, it's not very pretty. It's basically an outline of everything that's happening, including the rules for the treasure, kind of the background story, and how the drawing is going to be held, as well as both what I call both caches, the original cache that Forrest came up with at Christie's request, and then everything that has been donated since then. And you can find that document at bit.ly/JJ bit.ly.JJ Diggins. And you can go there now, take a look at it. So, and then share that document with your friends, neighbors, business associates, and social networks so that they can get more information, because it has all the links you'll need. I gotta stretch my leg out here. Hang on. It has all the information you need to participate in the raffle drawing. We were very fortunate last night, Shelley and I, to be visited by our subscriber, viewer, friend, and brother in arms, John Wayne Bobbitt, and he brought the coin that he's donating to this campaign, and I have it right here. This is the coin right here. It's an Armenian coin. I don't know if you can see how thick that is, and it's beautiful in the engraving. On the front is the Dove of Peace and Noah's Ark, which was found on Mount Ararat, which is now in Armenia. Ararat in Armenia. And on the back it has the crest of the Armenian government. But it weighs 1 kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds. It's 0.999 fine silver, and it is uncirculated. That means it hasn't been used or touched. As a matter of fact, when John asked if he wanted if I wanted him to open it, and I said sure, and he said you can only handle it if you have rubber gloves, and I said we didn't need to do that. But John had gone to a recon in Colorado, in the Durango area. He didn't. Did he specify which?
What?
where his Recon was in Colorado. Do you remember when he said?
No, just the pictures he showed us.
He showed us some pictures and a little bit of video, and we sat with him for a while. We went to dinner with him over at the Range Cafe here in Albuquerque, and I don't know if he was headed back up north for the next couple of days. He was kind of loose. He brought with him his tiny little miniature whatever. What kind of dog is
it's a Chihuahua. I don't know.
It's a hairy Chihuahua.
Well, I don't know. I'm not good with dog breeds. But it had fluffy ears. But
anyway, his name was Cupcake, and he carried him around.
She.
She was a she?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't realize it. So he brought Cupcake with him, and we went to dinner, and then he came back to the apartment. We just talked for a long time about Fenn treasure things. So he's a real fun guy, and we had a great time with him, and we look forward to seeing him again. And we wanted to thank him for his generous donation. It really is an amazing donation, and I'm sure the winner of the raffle is really going to enjoy this coin, whether you sell it as silver or you just keep it as and let it increase in value, because not only is it silver, of course, but it is a government. An Armenian government-issued coin. So 1,000 drams is what they called it. Okay, so ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is you.
Me. Oh, we're all the way up to housekeeping. I'm going to send out thank yous to our moderators, Jimmy Fast, Joel Lewicki, Jason Eunice, Brian Eagle, and Eric Schmidt. And they are in our room to keep us safe and the conversation flowing. Today's presentation will be followed by an open Q&A. And we're ready to start.
Are we? Wait a minute. I need to open the analytics page. Give me just a second.
Oh, okay.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Today's presentation is about technology that we use. If you look down at the little title of the show, the technology of AGK Oscar Mike. And that's on the move. So this is our portable equipment we take with us when we go out in the field.
Yeah. Army talk. See?
Army talk.
Army talk. Let me see if I can do this. So there we go. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we wanted to show. You know what I need to do? I need to switch over the screen. But there are a couple of things that we don't take with us, but are technology. And ever since GMAP 4, and you probably saw a video of mine. Let me switch over. Let me transition over to what we're talking about. There we go. So I'm going to transition over to that. I'll transition back to slides. So ever since GMAP 4 was discontinued back on July 12th, actually they made the announcement on July 12th, and then it was discontinued on July 15th. GMAP 4 was my favorite mapping product because it provided a lot of layers and things like that. So I went looking for alternatives, and I researched a couple. One of them was alltrails.com, and then I found this xonmaps.com. On xmaps.com. Thank you. And one of the nice things about onxmaps.com is it provides all the layering that GMAP 4 did plus. And by plus, I mean, and I'm just going to give you a quick example here because this is not a GMAP 4 presentation, but let me show you kind of some of the things that you can do with it. So one of the most important things that you can do with it, and right now we're looking at New Mexico, and we're looking at the area around the Colorado-New Mexico border and the Rio de los Pinos. This area here is the Cruces Basin Wilderness, etc. But one of the real benefits of this particular product, aside from, and it has a lot of information, but I'm just going to show you this, is that it shows a layer of public lands. And as you scroll out, let me scroll it out a little bit further so that you can see this. It takes just a second to render. Give it 1 second to render. Okay. So what it's showing here are all the public lands. And the yellow is BLM land. The green is Forest Service land. The blue is state land. The yellowish orange is tribal land. And the land that isn't marked is in here, the land that doesn't have an overlay. What's even more important is that when you scroll into these private lands, and again, I'll give it just a second to render. Let me do it up here where we're looking. So when you look at the private lands, let's see if I can find one right here. And I zoom in on the private lands. it actually shows the names of the owners. And again, it takes just a second to render. It actually shows the names of the owners of the private property so that you can go, and if you want to get onto their property, you have someone to contact. And I don't know why it's not rendering. Oh, maybe there's no private land. Let's see. I know there is over here. So, okay, well, maybe I just made that up. No, it does show you when you want to see the private lands. It actually gives you, oh, I think it's this layer. Is that it? No.
That says ranches.
It does show you that, I promise. And then you can look at the map in 3 different versions. You're looking at the satellite image here. There's a topo image, and then there's the hybrid, which is the satellite combined with the topo, which is very useful because now you can get a sense of how steep that hill that you think you were going to walk down or up is. So that's one of the pieces of technology. I will advise you that unlike GMAP 4, this product is not free. It has a couple of pricing models. One is if you only want one state, you can pay $14.99 a month or $29.99 a year. I strongly recommend the $29.99 a year if you're only going to look at one state. If you're looking at all 4 states in the search area, that is New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, it is cheaper than to get the all 50 states version because you can get the all 50 states for $99.99 a year, $99.99 a year. But since we're searching exclusively in New Mexico, we didn't need to do that. So in terms of technology, and of course you can print these maps out, et cetera, et cetera. In addition to that, and I'll post this link here, we've made a how to use video with all this information on our YouTube channel, and I'll post the link to that YouTube video in the description box below. Okay, so let me go back here, and then the next piece of technology that we use before we leave home are the Nat Geo Quads, and I will post a link to the Nat Geo Quads page here. And again, I'm going to go back to right there, and it looks like that. This is the main page of Nat Geo Quads. You'll see it look like that. When you scroll down, you'll see the locator map, and the locator map. And again, I'm in that area around the Colorado-New Mexico border, and I'm just going to open up an example of one of them. And the red dots are the quads, and these are 7.5-minute quads, which means on these quads 1 inch equals 1 kilometer. And every one of the quads has 5 pages. They're very detailed, or as detailed as you can get for free. You can actually buy more detailed maps, but this should be enough for you. There's an overview map with all the information about it. It tells you where the overview map is, the 2010 declination. You can actually look up the current declination, which I think is 11.5 degrees magnitude. And it also tells you the other maps. So your Toltec Gorge map or your Toltec Mesa map is right there. And then to the east of you is Bighorn Peak. To the north of you is Osher, etc., etc. So you can go back to the main mapping area and look at those maps if you find out that what you're looking for is not included in this map. On the map, on the main map, on the number 1 page, you'll see where pages 2, 3, and 4 and 5 are represented. And as you scroll down, you can see the detail of each one of those pages. So that's another tool that we use before we leave. These are free. They are not only downloadable because they're PDF, but you can print them as well. And I printed one out for you. It looks like that. So it's very nice printout, very clean printout. You can actually buy mapping paper at like REI Co-op. And the nice thing about the mapping paper is A, it's thicker, B, it's waterproof, and C, it's tear-proof. So if you want to take that map with you, it's very efficient. Now, I did notice that the inks I use in my HP printer are not waterproof, even though the paper is. So there was a little bit of, what do you call it? Dripping. What's the word I'm looking for? When water spills on ink and it
runs?
Running.
I don't know.
Runs. because of the inks that I used. But if you put it in a plastic bag, it'll be fine. But the nice thing about that paper is it's very nice and thick. I mean, you literally could print this map out once and use it forever. So that's another free tool. And in addition to that, we do have a video that I made a while back. Back in March of 2017, describing how to use the tool, and I'll post the link to that video in the description box below. Okay? So let's go back to here, and oh, they probably didn't see that. I didn't make that transition.
See what?
The transition that I made. Okay.
Oh.
So this is the technology we use. I don't know who's trying to get a hold of me. Somebody telling me that they're not watching our video now?
I don't know.
Is that it?
I'm going to go look.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
Curious then.
Okay. So my phone is buzzing over on the table here, making noise. So this is the technology. We carry the drone in a separate backpack. Is it of any great importance?
I don't know. Is it?
Oh, you know what? Everybody's responding to a message that Forrest sent out this morning to a bunch of bloggers and YouTubers. So they're all responding to it.
Okay.
Or reply all. So we use a Pelican case to carry everything but the drone. The drone has its own backpack because with the drone comes the batteries and the controller and things like that. But everything else fits in the Pelican case, including the SD cards and a spare power pack to charge everything that we use. So let's start with the drone. The drone is a Mavic Air, DJI Mavic Air. It is, if you look at reviews on it, you're going to hear it referred to as the best damn drone ever made. It has some weaknesses. One of them is that you can't program in waypoints. But it's probably, I've owned drones since Model 1s in 2011. And this is a drone that anybody can fly. It is an amazingly easy to fly drone. It is very capable. It has a camera on it that shoots 4K, which is super HD, high HD, and it shoots at it'll shoot at 120 frames a second, which gives you slow motion, and it is very compact. You'll see it with the props expanded, but this is what it looks like. This is the package that it looks like when it's all folded up and compact. The camera's on the front. It has a plastic protective cover on it that slides off. Let me see. I want to take it off. I don't want to take it off. And then the battery inserts right there. So the whole package, I would say, weighs less than a pound. What does it feel like to you?
Let's see. This is.
That's 2 kilograms.
That's 2
I'm sorry.
pounds?
No. That's 2.2 pounds.
Yeah, a pound and a half.
Yeah, pound and a half. And again, we carry this in a separate backpack. And the reason we do that, there's actually a very good reason for it. So, and I'm going to show you what it is right now. It is not that this drone is going to locate the treasure for us, although I'm experimenting with infrared and I'm experimenting with a lot of other things to see if there's some help. And as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about some of those technologies on our show Wednesday night. I've invited Matt Brewer back, who has his own drone company, who is very up to date on the technology, and my son Jason, who is also very up to date on the technology, for our panel on Wednesday. And we're going to talk about the potential for use in technology, and that's based on a question that was asked back on July 28th in Mysterious Writings by a young woman whose name was Natalia, and she mentioned several drone technologies, including metal detecting sensors, infrared, LiDAR, etc. And Fenn's response surprised me. She asked if it would help searchers that were just not your practical boots on the ground searchers. And I'm going to paraphrase. I'm not going to quote Fenn. So you'll have to watch Wednesday night's show, because I'll have the entire Mysterious Writings quote. We'll start with that. And then we're going to talk about some of those technologies, because there are advanced ground sensing technologies like LiDAR that if you had wanted to buy, or if you had wanted to use, you would have had to lease or rent several years ago. And if you wanted to buy, it would have cost you, even for the simplest ones, $1.5 million, and you would have had to fly them in a full-size aircraft. Right now, you can get online and you can buy a heavy-duty drone that has a LiDAR sensor on it, and it's going to cost between $50,000 and $80,000, depending on what options you choose. Now, none of us are going to go out and spend certainly $50,000 to $80,000 to buy a LiDAR-based drone or a drone-based LiDAR to help us with the search, because it's all about surface. LiDAR is a surface ranging radar. LiDAR stands for light radar, light sensing radar. It uses lasers. The point that I'm trying to make, and the point that we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, is the price of these technologies are coming down pretty rapidly. And so in the next couple of years, we're going to have technologies to help us in the search that aren't available to us right now. And one of the ways we use the drones, I want to show you this again, so I got to make a quick transition. Let me change this. So don't mind me, I'm just talking to myself. So I'm going to show you an area in which we are searching, and this is the image of that area according to Google Earth. Now, that's the best possible image. I can scroll in just a little bit further, and but it starts pixelating. So this is the best possible image without pixelation for free on Google Earth. And I don't know whether you can see it right there, but let me go on here for a second so I can point it out. So see that little truck right there? That's not my little truck, but that's where we parked before when we checked the river level here and before we cross it. The photo that I'm about to show you, it was actually taken from right here. So now you can see we've got this high level image of Google Earth. It actually looks kind of deserty more than it does like mountainy, you know, because it's hard to tell. I'm going to show you a picture of this area right here. I hope you can see that on your screen. It's a picture of this area right here, a photograph that I took with Kevin and Shelley from right about this space right here. And that's what that area looks like. Okay? So now we have Google Earth, which gives you this high-level image, and boots on the ground, which gives you this image. Okay? What I'm going to show you now, I've got to go back here, transition. What I'm going to show you now is this is the outro that we're going to be presenting to you today, but the outro is a HD image, 4K resolution, slow motion, 120 frames a second, shot from the drone. And what it provides, and it's just 20 seconds long because it is our outro, and what it provides is a different level of detail between up in Google Earth Air and down on Shelley, Toby, Kevin, boots on the ground. Okay? And so we're going to go quiet as we play this. I'm actually playing the outro, so it'll have the background music in it. But this was shot with that drone at the location that I just showed you. Okay, so that's what the drone gets you. It gets you a level of detail that you wouldn't otherwise get with Google Earth, and you wouldn't otherwise get with boots on the ground. Not that you couldn't do it with boots on the ground by taking the pictures, because that's beneficial too. But Shelley, you know, we've been out there and we look at it, and of course it's night and day when you're comparing it to Google Earth. Even if you've printed out that map, it just doesn't look anything like it. That's the first thing. The second thing you notice is this is much bigger than you can imagine seeing on Google Earth. And so the drone, by launching the drone, we can get a different perspective. It can search down the river for us because it'll go, you know, several kilometers. This particular drone will fly up to 7 kilometers away from you, and it can bring back all this imagery. Actually, it's transmitting all this imagery back to you while you're doing this, and so you get a sense of where you should go from there. So in that way, it's a really effective tool. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and the prices have come down. When I bought this, I paid $7.99 for it, which is DJI list price. And DJI is one of those companies that doesn't negotiate list price. If you buy it from DJI at $7.99, if you buy it from Best Buy at $7.99, if you buy it from B&H Photo, it's $7.99. But what vendors are now doing is they're adding their own packages to it to get you to make the buy. And so you pay the $7.99, and then what they do is give you a whole bunch of extra packages like the backpack, a landing pad, extra SD cards, a battery or two. Or said, I think the thing they don't add is the battery, because they want you to buy the battery, because the battery is around $70. So that's one of the ways they get you to do it. So if I had waited just a little bit longer, I could have gotten the package. Me, I don't have the patience. I was ready for another drone, and I wanted to make sure I got it before it went out of style. Now the prices do go down. DJI will lower prices, but the minute you see DJI, and you can go to DJIstore.com. The minute you see DJI lower a price on any of their drones from the original list price, that means the new version, the new model, is about to come out within 60 days. So that's the only time I've ever seen them lower the price. The other thing I wanted to show you is this is the controller for that drone. Now, I don't know how many of you had used controllers in the past. You actually use your smartphone to control the aircraft, and that's what it looks like. So it's very compact. You can fit the drone, the smartphone, 3 batteries, and although I do have a unit-specific backpack for it, what I can do is take everything that I need as we're trekking down the canyon, and I can put them in one pocket of my backpack. And so if I need to launch the drone to give us some additional information from there, I can do that. It's really very, very efficient. So let me go back to Tron Distance City here. Slide set? Yep. Okay. So let me go back to the slides now. So we love the drone, not just because I love the drone. I guess I love the drone. The other guys, Shelley and Kevin, I think, respect the drone.
Until we lose it. Until
we lose it. We haven't lost it. I'm actually a pretty good pilot. So
it's really hard to see when it gets up there in the air.
That was the only disadvantage to this side drone. So that video that you saw was shot at about 200 feet. You can actually, of course, fly much lower and get even more detail. The problem is once you get down around 50 feet, you're going to be competing with pine trees. Now, this particular drone has sensors on the front and the back, so it's not going to let you fly into a tree, and it's not going to let you back up into a tree. But the problem with it is once you're a kilometer away, even less, you have lost sight of it. And as a Part 107 pilot, you're required to have sight of your drone. You have to have line of sight of your drone. And sometimes you think you've got it, and you blink your eyes, and it's gone. Like, where'd it go? So, but it has a very nice, one of the things that it has is a return to home feature. That is literally the best. The technology, the firmware that they've installed in these drones, as well as the receiver transmitters, is almost futuristic. I mean, it is so easy to fly, so easy to control, so easy to get back to where you are. You know, it starts telling you when you're so far away that you don't have enough battery to make it back. Actually, it does it before you get to that point. And then it presents to you a return to home button. So even if you don't know where it is, you press that button, it goes up to 400 feet, which is the maximum a drone can fly according to Federal Aviation Administration regulations, and it flies it back to the spot that it started from. It's really amazing technology. Just beautiful and really fun to fly, and great imagery. So let me go up here. So where do we go from here? We go to the, okay, so I have my choice of cameras. I have all the way up to a Lumix DSLR with multiple lenses, but the favorite camera I take with me when I go, aside from our iPhones, all of us have smartphones with us, and we're constantly taking pictures. We actually have to collect them at the end of the Recon so that we can put all our pictures together in one folder. But my favorite camera is this one. It's a Nikon Coolpix AW110, And they don't actually make this camera anymore. They make a variation. I think it's like all the way up to AW300 or even 400, and it's much more expensive. You can find the AW110 on eBay for around 100 to 130 bucks, and if it's in good shape, I strongly recommend it because it'll do everything you need to do. It's waterproof to 18 meters. It's dust proof. It locks up. It has its own battery, so you can buy replacement batteries for it. It shoots 1920 by 1080 HD video with audio, and it shoots 16 megapixel photos. It has a moderate wide-angle to telephoto lens. So the wide-angle to telephoto is like from 28 millimeters to about 105 millimeters zoom. And it has all these options, of course, to customize your photography. But the other thing that it records for you in your photograph is the altitude at which you are standing and the precise geographic coordinates of where you are standing. And all of that is recorded in the metadata. Now, your smartphones will do that as well. But with this camera, it records all of that in metadata, and it takes the images are 4,000 by 3,000 basically. So it's an excellent camera, and it's very compact, very lightweight. You can see it here. So that's it right there. It has a nice big screen on the back, and the zoom function is right here, and the video function is right there. So very nice little camera, very compact, very light, fits in my shirt pocket, and very useful to us. Great imagery. A lot of the images you see when we come back from a recon are the combination of this camera as well as the smartphone images all of us have shot. Now, Kevin occasionally takes his big old honker of a Canon, and that takes beautiful images. He's gotten some great shots of us with his Canon. So that's another piece that we take with us and we like a lot. Then Shelley and Kevin own a GoPro 5 action camera, and it does a lot of things that the other cameras doesn't do. It also shoots at 4K. It will shoot up to 120 frames a second. GoPro uses the Sony sensors, so they're great sensors, and we use it for situations where we can trust that the GoPro will do the job that we can't get into. And a classic example of that is our river crossing video that was made by sticking the GoPro on a suction cup on the front of the vehicle, on the front of my truck, and making the river crossing with that. And as you can see, it's when we see it here, it's not as good when you see it in the outro, because it's reduced in resolution by not only OBS but by YouTube, and so it doesn't do the quality justice. But when we see it on our screen in front of us from the raw footage, it's just amazing and beautiful, and just gives you a real sense of what's going on there. So we don't use that as often, but it does great time lapse. It does great. Shelley has a mount that puts it on her chest. She has another one that puts it on it. So if we wanted point of view imagery as she's hiking or walking, she just presses that on. And like the other devices, and I should tell you that, well, I'll tell you in just a minute, you can use your smartphone to control it. So even if it's on the front of your truck and you're in the cab, you can control it with your smartphone. So a lot of that point of view imagery that you saw in our FLIR and Taos Box videos came off the GoPro in using the harness on the front harness and the head harness that gave us that point of view that we wouldn't otherwise have. So it's one of the tools that we have a lot of fun with, and it's fun to add that kind of video context. Very wide angle lens, but you know, everybody forgives that because it's a GoPro action camera. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you know about GoPro, it's waterproof, dustproof, pretty sturdy. You can drop it. I think they say you can drop it from 30 feet and it'll survive. I've never tried that, although I have dropped other cameras from 30 feet and they didn't survive.
Yeah.
So, okay, next is the FLIR 1 infrared camera. It has two lenses on it, one for infrared light, capturing infrared light, and the other for capturing visible light. And it actually processes those two images into one, and it fits onto your smartphone like that. And there's an app called the FLIR 1 app that enables you to record the imagery that comes in through the infrared and onto your camera. And I think I have a picture of it on the camera. in here. So that's what it looks like, and you can see that's a sample of an image. That's a motor, an engine, a car engine on the camera. So it's very cool. This is a camera. Here, let me take it. This is a shot. This is a shot of my coffee maker, and it registers heat. But the advantage to having those two lenses, if all you had was an infrared camera, you wouldn't be able to make the distinction between what was generating heat and what was not. But because it has that visible light camera as well, it takes and it gives you the outlines of the objects in the infrared image, including that Starbucks symbol. You wouldn't otherwise have that Starbucks symbol there, or the Faberware, the note, or is it Farberware? Farberware on the coffee pot, etc., etc. So it's the combination of the two lenses, both infrared light and visible light. We've done some testing with the chest that you see over my shoulder there, and if you hide it, if you put it behind, if you put it up on a rock and you step 50 feet away from the rock, you can't see it. It's camouflaged, even though it's sitting on top of the rock. If you're using visible light, your eye, right? And even a visible light camera, you'd have to zoom in to find it. With this, it shows the difference between the heat on the box and the heat around it. Now, eventually, they're going to, if you leave it out there long enough, they're going to change. But the box changes its temperature either faster or slower from the surrounding area, depending on what the surrounding area is. So it changes it faster than, say, dirt, but slower than, say, rock. So, but it does show the distinction. And again, I don't know necessarily that it's going to help you to find the treasure, but it's going to tell you a lot about the area. So, for example, if the treasure, you know, Fenn has mentioned more than once, take a flashlight with you, the implication being that you'll need to search in niches and crawl spaces, etc., etc. Well, one of the things that you can do with this is you can point that camera into that space, and whatever is generating heat in that space is going to provide an image for you without you actually having to enter the space. So, and as you can see, it's so compact, there's no reason not to take it. These things run around $200 to $250, but they're fun to play with. And honestly, on weekends I'll go out just on my walk up or my bike ride on the Bosque, and I'll find kind of cool things to take images of, and it's really kind of cool imagery. You can actually change the color spectrum that you use to produce. This is the standard infrared, but you can produce other color spectra. We also take two Cobra microTALK CX312s. They have a range of about 25 miles. Literally, you don't leave home without them. You can buy these things now at Walmart for $30 or less. Again, the technology has come down in price by so much. It's amazing. They're rechargeable. They have 3 AA rechargeable batteries. You recharge them from the outside. They have a headset with a control box on them so that you can use the headset, not ever have to take the walkie-talkie out. You can just hook it up on your backpack strap or something. In addition to this, this particular model also provides NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration weather channels if they're within reach of where you are. It has, I don't know, what is it, the standard 21 channels? It's the CB channels. And again, they're so expensive and so light. Inexpensive, I'm sorry, and so light. I got them one time after Shelley and I had done a recon up FLIR, and I had sent her up for some drone footage up a dry riverbed, and I lost her. And, you know, I don't want to lose Shelley. Why would I want to lose Shelley? So literally the next time I got to over to the Walmart, I got us some walkie-talkies, and we haven't had that problem since. We have to give one to Kevin because he wanders off. He's very exploratory. So the most important piece in our kit. Oh, so here's again very compact walkie-talkie. But I feel like the most important piece in our kit is this one, and this is the Delorme InReach Explorer. It is a satellite communications device, and it uses 2 satellite systems. It uses the Inmarsat satellite system for communications and messaging, and it uses the GPS satellite system for location and tracking. It's one device, and it does all of that. Gorman. Garmin has recently, before you slip there, Garmin has recently released, I'm sorry, let me start that over. Garmin has recently acquired InReach, and so this model is no longer available. Garmin has incorporated it into their GPS system. So when I got this, I got it for about $199 because it was just before the acquisition. The Garmin version with GPS, integrated GPS, and the Inmarsat satellite communications capability runs, I think the cheapest one I've seen is around $650. But the advantage is that if you're in an area where you have no cell phone service and there is an emergency, a life-threatening emergency, I can slide this over and press that SOS button, and they have a 24-hour-a-day. Part of what you get out of this is a 24-hour-a-day service center somewhere. I have no idea where it is. But then you can message with them and determine what kind of rescue, if you need a rescue, or what kind of problem that you're having. And the way that you do that is using messaging. This is not a satellite phone. It's a satellite texting system, I guess is the best way to describe it. But one of the benefits of it is that rather than trying to use, the old style scrolling to get your text, there is a product, an app called Earthmate, that integrates your cell phone with this device. So your contact list on your smartphone, for example, your text contact list, and the way that you text on your phone with your little thummies, texting on your texting machine, it integrates with this so you can communicate with that. The other thing is that every instance, every purchase includes your own Earthmate map. So that if you want to let people, if you have friends, relatives, business associates, and social networks that you want to follow you on your trek, you can give them a unique URL to your Earthmate map, and once you start your InReach on here, they can follow you. In addition to that, any messages that you send that are not private, you can send public text messages. They see that on the Earthmate app on their screens as well. If they're away from their screens and there is a new text message, their cell phone, if they're in your contact list and they're watching, their cell phone will let them know that the new text message has arrived. So that's a subscription service, and it starts at around $39 a month, but you can add functions like I have unlimited texting, and I have the weather service, the weather reporting service, which is a satellite reporting service. So it costs me about $74 a month, but I only get it for the 3 summer months, June, July, and August, because that's the only time that we're out on recons that I feel like we need this service. So again, not everybody needs that depending on where you're going. Some people have cell service, but we're in an area that we run out of cell service real quickly. So this was a tool that we decided to get so that we could make sure that we never left communications. So last but not least, I went, rather than relying on this, not that we rely on our smartphones, one of the things, let me see if I can get to... one of the things that's available to you if you're a Verizon user, I don't know if this is on other phone service systems, is the iPhone SE. This one, it has the current iOS on it. It's 32 gigabytes. It's very fast. It provides a 4K camera, 120 frames, very real good video camera. And this particular device integrates with our FLIR infrared. It integrates with the InReach Explorer, and it's also what we use to control the drone. The software, the DJI drone software runs on this. We have 2 of these, and the reason I can afford 2 of these is that they're $160 a piece at Verizon. So I also have a third one that is my actual cell phone. That has the SIM card. The 2 that we take with us don't have SIM cards. One is, our operational device, and the other is a backup. So it's just something that if you're a Verizon customer and you'd like something besides your phone to integrate with all this other technology, it's a great way to use it. And for $160, you can't beat it. So this is optional. If So as you know, I'm a videographer. I'm a documentary maker. Shelley's a filmmaker. So we do a lot of video production. And over the course of the video production, one of the things that came available to us were the 3-axis stabilizers, gimbals, stabilizers. And honestly, this technology was a result of the 3-axis gimbals that companies like DJI were putting onto their drones. That's why we have, even when you're flying in high winds, we have such a stable image. So they took that 3-axis technology and they put it into these axis gimbals. The first one of these that I bought, the first 3-axis gimbal that I bought for handheld, was around $1,200. The second one I bought was $600. This is $129. And it's crazy not to have one because it gives you complete stability. And instead of a camera, it simply uses your smartphone as the camera. And you can control the smartphone from here. So for example, this is either a zoom or a focus ring. You can set it inside. And if I have my smartphone on here, I can turn this and it zooms the camera on the smartphone. So when you're shooting in 4K, you can zoom it in as far as 1280 if you want, and you're not going to see much change in something that you upload to YouTube. So for 100, this particular model is a Zhiyun Smooth 4. And again, you can get it on Amazon for about 120 bucks, 29 bucks. DJI also makes one, their DJI Osmo M model. And it runs around 130, 140 bucks, but it's missing some of the advanced technologies that this one has. So if you're looking for a camera handheld stabilizer for your smartphone to give you that nice quality, I don't know, the train video, if you ever see the video that we use for an outro where Shelley's waving at the people on the train, that was made with this. Very smooth, very clean. So that's optional. You don't need that, but that's just a piece of technology that we use because we like making movies whenever we go out. We do a lot of that. And again, the camera is this, so I don't have to take a bunch of camera equipment with me. So, and then the last piece, one of the things that's going to be important with all this technology is power. So I take with us a fully charged Harbor Freight 5-in-1 power station. The battery is a monster. It lasts forever. It is also not a transducer. It provides AC power for up to 12 hours. So if you have a small device that requires AC, it doesn't show it, but on the back it has several USB ports for charging. And then it has those, you can see on the front, the 2 AC power ports for charging as well. And like I said, it also provides a battery charger, a compressor, and what the heck is that thing called? It converts DC to AC. Anyway, it does that. Pardon me? Converted? No, it actually has another. Are these
flashlights?
Yeah, and those are, it has lights on top, and like I said, the air compressor. Those are the.
How big is that?
It is bigger.
Size of a car battery?
It's not. It's about the size. Yeah, I would say it's about the size of a car battery, but because you have the handle, the battery inside is a much smaller battery, so it doesn't weigh as much as a car battery. It's very easy to pick up, but of course it has that heavy duty handle in the back. So that provides us all the recharging power that we need, no matter how long we're out. And when you use as much technology as we do, as often as we do, you can go through your power sources pretty quickly. And then my truck has a camper shell on it. The camper shell has 3 12-volt adapters. So I just plug this into one of those, and while we're driving around, it recharges itself. So that's a lot of fun. Okay, we're ready. You ready to go to chat?
Yeah, let's do it. What time is it?
It is.
We've been chatting a while here.
Yeah, we've been talking too long. Okay, I need to make a transition, so we'll go to chat. So, all right, guys. First of all, we're going to move over to chat. And remember that if you'd like to contribute to our project, please use the super chat button. It's the $ symbol down at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of your chat page. Your contributions to our project, A Gypsy's Kiss, are greatly appreciated. We're very grateful for that. So let me transition out of that and go back to full screen. And then you need to see the chat window.
Let's hope people found us.
We're pretty good. We have 61 viewers right now. That's
Okay.
not bad for a Tuesday.
And 61 people found us.
Yeah, at least.
Okay.
Okay, so...
I think this is a chat from something else.
Oh, you know what? It didn't convert over. Okay, hang on. I got to go find our chat someplace. You know what? We're not going to be able to do it because it's not going to provide us all of that. It didn't pick it up. It was from that one window that started off.
Well, you'll just have to do it from over there.
Okay. Let me pop this chat out. This might not get us all the way back either, come to think of it.
Well.
Okay, give us a sec. We got some chat issues here.
I think that's most of it anyway. I think that's all of it. See, it says Blue Jeans and Hush Puppies on the title. What's going on there?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me go back here. Just give me a sec. Go back. Technology. Eating us alive. Okay.
Technology.
All right. I'm going to move this over to you, and you're just going to have to work with that. I'm sorry. I don't know where it is. I don't know how it didn't end up on the screen. Oh.
New stuff.
New stuff.
We're trying new things.
We're trying new things.
We like to try new things. Just keep it exciting.
Okay. Yeah, see, I don't know. It shows up as Blue Jeans and Hush Puppies, but it's recording, viewership and things like that. So,
Crazy.
All right. Okay, guys, so forgive us. We're going to go as far back up as we can. Let me see if I can pop that out for you. Yeah. Pop out. And then while you're doing that, while you're going through your...
There we are.
I don't know how far back up it's going to go.
It goes up to RF Hecky.
It doesn't do that. That's not good. Okay. You're better off here because this... Oh, now when I popped it out, we lost it. Okay. So
we'll just have to cope.
We are going to apologize. All right, go for it. We're going to...
So, let's see. Susan Heckenlibel's here. Jimmy Fast is here. T. Hunter. And see, they were lost. He was sitting there looking at something else, and we were on another channel or something. But he wants to know, was the drone able to fly to GPS coordinates input into the drone?
Not this particular model. This particular model doesn't have waypoints, but you can get an application called Lychee. On your smartphone from either, I think it runs on Android. I'm certain it runs in the iOS operating system, and it's called the Lychee app, and it enables you to enter waypoints and fly to waypoints, some of which are based if you have them set according to GPS coordinates. So this particular model of the drone, the one thing it's missing is that particular feature wasn't included. You have to get the DJI Mavic Pro in order to get the waypoint tracking feature, but the Lychee app will enable you to do that.
All right, EC Does It Good and Mitzi Moore TV are here.
Hi,
Eric
Mitzi.
Schmidt is here. No one in particular. I'm always hiking alone, so I take an ACR with me at all times. Expensive, but it will send the cavalry to get you if you require it. Shikru? Okay. Is here. Belva Jenkins is here. She says, also check out the Gaia.
Oh, Gaia is another one of the mapping services, like AllTrails and OnX Maps.
Sean Martinez, does the FLIR record video footage for an extended period of time?
Yes.
Mark Connor is here.
Okay, so I can give you a bigger screen here, but it's in the same location.
Mr. Winger 1951 uses the Gaia GPS.
Yeah.
And And so does Craig Carter. Goldilocks is here. I feel like Toby's the substitute teacher in front of the room and nobody's listening and you're all goofing off.
So it's okay. That's fine. T Hunter, it's not that brand. It's not DJI because that's a brand. That particular model, the Mavic Air, does not have waypoints, but the other models do.
Inverter.
Inverter. That's the word that I was looking for. So when you want to convert DC power from your car battery to AC power to power something like your coffee maker.
CPAP.
CPAP, yeah. It's an inverter, and that's included in that 5-in-1 Harbor Freight.
Which Eric Schmidt has
thank
provided
you,
the,
Eric. Look at you
for.
ahead of us already.
Yeah.
$109. Thank you, Eric. I'm sure Harbor Freight appreciates that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you asked a question early on in this, we've lost all of that, so make sure you ask it again so we can get to it, and make sure you precede your question with @AGK so you know you're asking us a question.
Eric says it doesn't look like the power pack has AC power. It's in. You said it was in the back or something?
Yes, it does. You have to look on the back. The two AC plugs are on the back of the power pack.
Chaka Khan. My truck has an inverter and compressor, so I'm good.
Okay, well, you don't need to worry about that.
But for a power outage at his cottage, he wouldn't like that. So.
Well, if you really want to go big time, they Harbor Freight had a sale on for last week, and they had a complete 2-cylinder power generator. And it was like $299. I mean, it was an amazing number if you're really hung up on making sure that you have technology. I mean, that you have power when you're out in the field.
Sean Martinez is thinking about getting the FLIR for his trip.
Mm-hmm.
This is ironic that this vlog is about technology since we sent them all to the wrong place for watching the show, apparently.
Oh.
We'll have to figure out what happened there.
I don't know.
I think it's because we scheduled so many in advance. We're trying to get ahead on things, and I don't know what happened. Maybe we don't do that again.
Steve, I did get your email with the images. We just haven't had a show where we could present it. We'll probably do that when we get back from vacation.
Paul Wood is here.
Hey, Paul.
And okay, there we go.
It's been like sitting in Mrs. Ford first grade class. Good. Well, that's good news.
Rick Plank says, what's the difference between an AW110 and an AW120?
The AW120 is the newer model. That's all. It probably has a little bit more resolution, but the concept is the same. AW in Nikon language stands for all weather. And so you'll get the weatherproofing as well as the GPS and altitude sets in your metadata.
Rick Plank says, oh, we just said that. Alan K. resent the Norton email. Let me know if it works.
Thank you, Alan. What I did is I put it in a folder to save it because my subscription wasn't up yet, and I lost the folder somewhere. I misplaced. I put it in a folder to remember it, and I forgot what folder it was. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Steve says, have you considered attaching marking tape to your drone to help visually track it?
Steve, we've tried everything, including I'm planning to spray paint the bottom orange at this fluorescent orange. Once this drone is a ½ kilometer away from you, you can't see it.
It's just too little.
It is.
We're old people.
It is so small that even, and of course the red is on the top, not the bottom. It's black on the bottom. But there are companies that offer, what do they call those things that that you put on cars to do advertising?
Oh.
The plastic things. What do they call them? Give me a name, Rome. You know what I'm talking about.
Not a reflector.
No, but you can now buy body prints that stick on that give you fluorescent and other fluorescent colors, fluorescent orange and other fluorescent colors. But once it's a kilometer away, I mean half kilometer away, you can't see it. Now, the advantage, of course, is that you're working with a map here, so you can see it in terms of where you are on the DJI app. It's not like you've lost it completely. You just can't see it. But Part 107 flyers are required to have a great. Okay, I don't know. I had a terrible night last night, apparently. Observer. Watching the aircraft while you're flying it, because it's hard to look at the screen of your control unit and watch the aircraft simultaneously. So, wrap. That's it, David Dow. They have plastic wrap now for the bottom of them in various fluorescent colors, so you can see the darn thing.
Jimmy Fast says, do any drones have live VR?
Yeah, all drones do. You can actually buy the Oculus
Rift?
No, the Rift, but DJI also makes one, and they give you VR in the camera. They actually, it's so realistic, apparently, they warn you that if you're afraid of heights, don't put the glasses on. That's how realistic it is. So it does transmit directly to the receiver, and then there's a cable that goes from your receiver into your VR goggles, and you can do that. So like with the Oculus, you can install, you can just use your cell phone, your smartphone. The DJI actually makes one that runs around $300 that has the lenses and camera in it, so, or the lenses and screen in it. So yes, an answer to your question. It's great technology.
Mr. Winger suggests using a strobe, attaching a strobe.
Well, you know what? There's actually a company that makes one, and I was thinking about ordering it just to get that flashing light, so we have some way to identify it. What you're doing in the process, anytime you add weight to a drone this size, you're reducing your flight time. So that's you have to run that test first.
And Eric Schmidt put a link. Anyone is interested, here's a review of the Power Pack.
Oh, okay, good.
T Hunter, it doesn't have a GPS tracker on it, or could you put one on it, on the drone?
The drone, it does not have, you could put one on it, but you really don't, I don't think you need to. And the reason is you're looking at the flight path on the screen in front of you. Not only you're getting two kinds of images, you can look at it from two perspectives. You can look at it in the visible light, real-time perspective, or you can look at it as it travels over either a satellite view or a topographic view. You download the maps depending on where you're going to fly. Now, if you're in an area where the maps are available, if you're in an area where there's no cell phone service, you can't get to the maps, so you pre-download them. But you're looking at on a map, and once you do that, you can actually see where you're flying and where that drone is, so you can do it that way. But again, with the Litchi app, you can establish, using the same maps, you can establish a flight path using waypoints that can be GPS coordinates to get the same effect.
Steve Gahagan says he won't be able to meet you on Labor Day weekend after all.
Oh, shucks. Well, no need to apologize. I'm sure we'll get together at some other time.
And we're at the bottom.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so guys, we're moving away from the chat room. So we won't be able to see any other chat for now. Close that window. Get over here. You got one more slide to finish up. Let me get you back and transition.
Okay, and hopefully we won't have the same issue of sending you to the wrong place again, but just to keep you updated, our panel will be happening tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, Wednesday night, August 15th, and we'll be talking more about technology, and we'll have Matt Brewer talking about drones and FLIRs and all of that good
LiDAR.
All that good stuff, and so that's tomorrow night. Thursday at 1 p.m. We'll have book club. We're going to be talking about chapter 19, which is
teachers and ropes.
Oh,
students and ropes. Something in ropes.
Teachers and ropes.
Teachers striking children with ropes. Something.
No, I think they're just hanging onto the ropes. It's about the Fenn galleries and how you like to show the art to the kids. And then, of course, Friday, 1 p.m., we'll be releasing It's All About You, number 9. So be on the lookout for that.
Surprise.
Yeah. What else? Anything else?
Thank you. We love you. We're sorry we ended up. We'll figure out. So while you're doing this, we can't see chat, but do me a favor and kind of, if you can, in a short comment, tell me, because the other thing too is this chat, because of the way we lost the chat. We didn't see the beginning of all this. So if you would please give us a comment as to what your starting experience was today, what happened to you, so that I can figure out what happened, and then I can figure out how to correct it. I'd appreciate if you do that in the chat room. So
or in the comments below.
I'm sorry, in the comments below. Well, the chat will stay up for just a bit, even after we go down. So if you can do that, that would be very helpful. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. I'm getting distracted. Thank you so much for being here today, for all your questions and comments, and for your kind attention. And for Gypsy's Kiss, the vlog, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice, your substitute teacher for the day. Make sure you join us tomorrow evening for our panel session on more technology. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.